because you have to have a job if you want to be in a band. You got to buy gear, you got to rent, whatever you got to do. So I was the last of 8 kids too. I think by that time my mom she saw that I was when I said I'm going to leave school, I was going to go to alternative school.
Right. But they didn't have a lot of those when we were growing up.
They had Nova.
Okay, up in Seattle.
They had this place called Nova. So I got into Nova, and I didn't really go. That's when I kind of became a lifer in music. Once I left, like high school, was when I said, okay, well, you've made this big move. You better be all in. You can't just quit school and be some loser dude. So I really went all in on. I was playing drums then, I was playing guitar then, I was playing bass then. I was trying to figure out which was gonna be my one. Was I gonna be a drummer? About the same time, I'm about 16 years old. Heroin came into Seattle. This is 81, late 81, early 82, and it really kind of this brown tar heroin came in to Seattle and kind of took out everybody I was playing with. It didn't hit me. I had done drugs and stuff earlier, like really young age, like middle school. You probably did too. It's our age group.
12, 13,
yeah, 12, right.
Pot, and we moved on to acid.
Acid, sixth grade.
Yeah,
mescaline. Remember,
mescaline,
and cannabinol. Remember that stuff? We had everything, and in Seattle, we could pick mushrooms on the way home from school. We knew how to discern Liberty Caps from every other mushroom. By the time you're 13 years old, you're an expert on like mushrooms. So by the time I was 16, I kind of went straight edge. I'd had like a really bad acid trip. I had a really bad mushroom trip. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I started having panic attacks, and I thought it was from all the psychedelics. So I wasn't like going to AA meetings. I just stopped everything, and I was just so into music, and that was my drug. About the same time, heroin came in, and it took out like guys in my band. This band, we were poised to make that next move. We toured with Black Flag, we toured with Dead Kennedys, which is you're on your way up in that day and age, right? My roommate that I had a house with, he got strung out. At 18, my girlfriend got strung out, and at 19, I was at this point. So it's 1984, and a friend of mine who was strung out, he said, "Man, if you don't leave now, you got to go somewhere. You got to get out of here. You're like our hope, in my little group of friends." And my car, I didn't think it would make it. It was a '71 Maverick, a slant 6 engine. I bought it for $300. Like, okay, New York's 2,500 miles away or whatever it was. LA's 1,200. I've been to LA and played. So I headed south. I moved to LA.
Now, what would you do the first couple months in LA?
I mean, I was busy. I got a job at Black Angus, first day I was here, like on the way. I drove in, this is how green I was. I drove into down over the Grapevine. Got into Northridge, the 405, right? Got in Northridge, I see lights. I must be in LA. I didn't really know the layout of LA. I'd only played like the Cathay de Grande in Hollywood and some other, So I'm here and I pull off way out there and get a job at the Black Angus. I'm in LA. I had a resume. I was a cook, I had a good resume. I got a job right there. I'd been driving for whatever, 20 hours. But when you're 19, you can do anything. So I got a job after that shift.
You worked right then? You started?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, man. Got a job. What are you going to do? Oh, give me some time? No, you start. Okay, I got a job. I only had like $260. So I didn't have enough to get an apartment. I knew there would be a little swing time in there. So after that shift, an older cook, like a frontline cook, I said, how far is Hollywood? He asked me if I could give him a ride home. I'm like, I can give you a ride home. Where's Hollywood from here? He said, Hollywood, man, that's like 25 miles away. So he gave me directions, and I went to Hollywood that night. Slept in my car for the first couple weeks. like washed up work. You know, finally was able to get an apartment at this really cheap place behind the Chinese Theater. The Olympics had just left L.A., the Summer Olympics of '84.
Olympics, yeah.
So what I didn't know, you know, now I have all this great leisure of retrospect, right? This great knowledge of retrospect. The '84 Olympics, what the LAPD had done is cleaned out LA. You ever heard about this?
Yes, I was here. I came before the
You were
Olympics.
here.
I came and my uncle said he'd get me a job with the phone company
Okay.
for the Olympics. Now, comedy was not on my radar.
Right.
Nothing. Entertainment was not on my radar. I liked movies, shit like that, but there was no way it was on my radar. And I came. I think I stayed a week, and then we got into a beef. He said, I don't think you really want to stay for the job, and I left. But then I was here, and I was just in shock. I had come to L.A. a lot when I was a kid to visit my uncle. My mom would send me to Disneyland and SeaWorld and all that shit. But when you live on the East Coast, your impression of L.A. is beaches and blondes and bitches. And next thing you know, I'm saying I'm in Glendale, and it looks worse than Newark, New Jersey.
Right.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is a pipe dream.
Right.
There's a beach, but then there's all this other land that looks like a bomb fucking hit it, you know?
Yeah.
So with our disagreement, I got the fuck out of there, but I had to go around in buses, and I saw how filthy it was. Like I went to Hollywood one day with him. He had to pick up music or something. And I looked around Hollywood, and I'm like, this is fucking Hollywood? Like,
Yeah.
It was just awful.
Yeah. So it's well known now, but the cops came in and they cleaned out Hollywood and cleaned out the place where people for the Olympics would be. They want to make LA look great. And so I guess they shipped like homeless people to Arizona or Orange County, got the hookers out, got the drug dealers out, cleaned it up for that, whatever it is, 2 months that the Olympics are here. And unbeknownst to me, I moved right after the Olympics, September 14th, and the cops just left. And so everything came back into Hollywood. It's like the Wild West. And but the good side of that was rent was super cheap. Nobody wanted to live there. And so I got an apartment it wasn't cheap to me. $200 a month was a lot of money. But I had my own place. It was cockroach infested. There was the police helicopters all night long. Like and it'd be right next to my apartment. Whatever's going down, I hear people running by my window. There's bars on the windows. It was culture shock from Seattle for sure.
We're going in like fucking Marines, you understand me?
Welcome to church, motherfucker.